Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Daredevil Born Again, Season 1, Episodes 1 and 2. That is episodes number 1, which is Heaven's Half Hour, and episode 2, which is Optics. Welcome, everybody. Before I get started, let me take care of some business first, then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. And if you're if you're on the fence about subscribing there, take a look at the videos that pop up at the very end here, over here, and over here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if y'all, I have over 1,000 videos now at this point. So basically, YouTube's just kind of looking at what you're watching and tries to match it to one of the videos in my library there. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to know when I'll be on live again next, you can go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. All right, let's get to it, shall we? There's going to be spoilers. So if you haven't seen the episodes and you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch. So, or you can come back when it's a video and you go back and watch it and come back. Yeah. So there you go. Um, so of course, this pretty much follows the Netflix series a bit. It, so the showrunner for this one is actually the Netflix Punisher series showrunner, uh, who took this one over. And I'm gonna go on record as saying right now the Punisher series on Netflix was good, but it wasn't. It was slow. It was a very slow burn, and yeah, it just that's kind of where we're at with this as well. Uh, and yes, don't get me wrong. I like things that are slow burn sometimes, but only if they're done well and with certain intentions. Sometimes slow burns can be really infuriating and can just be boring for the most part. Um, we kind of got a 50-50 mix with this here, the first two episodes. We start off, of course, jumping out right of the gun there of no pun intended on that. Uh, we have all the same actors coming back. For Matt Murdock, for Karen Page, Foggy Nelson, Wilson Fisk. We have the same actors coming back, but they kill off Foggy like pretty much in the first 5 minutes of episode 1, and they bring Bullseye in order to do this. And they kind of make Bullseye kind of a thrill killer, almost in a way. I'm sure there's going to be more to it, as the season goes on here. There's what is it 18 episodes, I believe is what it is, and or 17 episodes, and we're supposed to get 9 episodes this season and then the 8 episodes next season 2. So yeah, this is where the Born Again title comes from. The Born Again, by the way, is a comic that Frank Miller and oh god, I'm just blanking on his name, starts with an M. um really good series from the 80s. And this kind of isn't really following it, but it's borrowing the same name. I'm fairly sure they're going to cross over into that territory at some point in time. Um, because of Foggy's death at the hands of Bullseye, which it's a pretty brutal fight between Bullseye and Daredevil. What you can see of it, I mean, a lot of it is in shadows. A lot of it, the camera work is kind of infuriating because it's either far away or too close up, and you're hearing the knives being thrown by Bullseye, and they're hitting Matt Murdock. They're hitting Daredevil, and you're seeing him sticking out of him, and you're seeing him kind of deflecting him, kind of, sort of, because it's dark, and like I said, you're either too far away or too close up. It was there was no in between on that. Um, And again, I might be nitpicking on this, but it took me out of the story when you start doing stuff like that and it's repeatedly over and over again, especially in the scene that was that long. That was almost a 10-minute long scene with them fighting and going back to, Foggy dying on the sidewalk and, going back and forth and all that. And it was kind of frustrating almost in a way. And at the end of it, with Foggy dying and Matt hearing that Foggy's dead and they're up on the rooftop and he's beating the shit out of Bullseye, and where he kind of just drops Bullseye off the roof. Um, I kind of laughed for a second because it just, the way he kind of did it, I don't know, it just seemed weird. I expected it, quite honestly, but at the same time, it just seemed kind of weird. Anyway, um, they go into a year later, of course. Karen has moved to San Francisco. Matt is still in New York City. He started a new practice, and he's at the trial of Bullseye, Poindexter, and we see that he gets multiple life sentences, of course. And um, yeah, Karen and him were almost an item kind of thing. Karen and Matt were almost an item, didn't happen. And they kind of talk about it, but they beat around the bush. There's a lot of that's the other thing that kind of bothers me about so far about this series, that just in the 2 episodes, there's a lot of beating around the bush. There is no um there's no directness to some of the dialogue. There's no directness to some of the scenes, and it's kind of frustrating, quite honestly, when you're watching it. And it's almost sloppy in a way, I want to say, but I can't really reserve that judgment until I see the entire season. Um, like I said, I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it, but at the same time, I was kind of disappointed by it. I think is more, maybe I was reading too much into it. Maybe I wanted more out of it. I don't know. And in all of this, Wilson Fisk comes back as well. He, of course, had been shot in the face by Echo, his protege in the series Echo, and survived. Came back, and in the meantime, his wife Vanessa had been running the Empire, um, and she's not too happy to see him back, considering that she's been doing a really good job of bringing his empire to fruition and being profitable in all of this. Um, Yeah, so they of course are having marital problems as well. That gets brought into this. He decides to run for mayor of New York City. New York City, at this point in this year that Daredevil has been gone, has gone to shit. So crime has risen quite a bit. Um, we do get some Easter eggs, I guess, saying that Spider Man is around and that Punisher is around. Um, and then, of course, we see White Tiger as well. So White Tiger is a character that pops up into the series, and um, that is one of the side stories, I guess you could say, side quests, if you will. Where so for those of you who don't know who White Tiger is a character who has a mystical amulet that actually gives him super strength. So, and he also knows martial arts. Um, and if I remember correctly, it's familial, so it actually goes through a bloodline. That amulet, and at one point, there is a female white tiger as well. So they're yeah, but they're going with the male white tiger, who the actor who played White Tiger in this series actually passed away. For those of you who are wondering, in episode 2, Optics, at the very beginning of that, there was an actual, memorial kind of thing there, and that, yeah, it was kind of weird. I didn't realize that he had passed away. I never had heard of it, and that kind of threw me off a little bit too. I was like, I stopped for a second. So Kamar de los Reyes is the actor who passed away, and I don't know what he passed away from. I didn't hear what he passed. Yeah. Anyway, it was kind of a weird thing. I actually stopped the episode to see who it was, and then I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. And but anyway, um, his character Hector is on the subway, sees two guys accosting a third guy. He steps in, and he's not in a white tiger costume. He ends up killing one of the guys by accident, and it turns out that it's a cop. So he ends up in jail. Matt ends up hearing him getting the shit kicked out of him in the police precinct, and decides to, of course, you know, represent him in court. So that is where we're going with this other storyline too. And in the meantime, Matt has his partner, his partner, law partner, has set him up with a date, and he's getting along and doing fairly well. And in the meantime of all of this, Wilson Fisk has become mayor of New York City, and they have this very tense exchange, both Matt and Wilson, uh, where Matt basically says, "I want to, I want to believe that you're good, but if you're not, I'm gonna fuck you up." And also, Wilson says, "Well, mass vigilantes, if your other side comes back, I'm going to go after you as well." Because that is what Wilson Fisk had run on for his mayoral campaign, was to get rid of masked vigilantes. So yeah, there's all of this going on, but we also see Wilson kind of bouncing back a little bit towards the kingpin side, when the commissioner, who really doesn't like him, is going to step down, is going to retire, and take pretty much half the cops on the force with him. And Wilson basically threatens an illegitimate child of the commissioner that lives outside of King of Prussia there, and says, "Oh, basically shows him a photo. Doesn't say anything, but just shows him a photo and says, 'Yeah, I know about your past,' kind of thing. So, uh, don't do it." And yeah, doesn't have to say it in so many words. But we see him kind of slipping back into that bad guy role. So is he actually good? Is he not? We don't know as of yet, but most likely not. Um, and Matt, in the meantime, is looking for the third guy who's getting the shit kicked out of him, that Hector, had protected on the subway there, and finally gets wind of he's following one of the cops that was on the platform there, um, and finally finds out where this guy is. He gets the apartment before the cop does, and of course, the cops kick the shit out of Matt because he's not fighting back, until they pull out the gun. When they pull out the gun to kill Matt, that's when he unleashes fury, if you will, and kicks the shit. I mean, I don't know if he killed one of those guys, because I heard when the last guy flips, it almost sounded like he landed on his head and broke his neck. As I thought I heard a snap, but I wasn't too sure as to what was going on there. And that's kind of where we leave off at the end of episode 2. So New York's in shambles, obviously, uh, crime everywhere, and Matt's not going, doesn't want to become Daredevil, but he's kind of getting pushed back into it. Um, Seems like Wilson is also getting pushed back into the kingpin role, even though he's trying to become mayor, if you will, and do the right thing. And Matt's new girlfriend is a therapist, and she's doing couples therapy for the Fists, both Vanessa and Wilson. And that's probably not going to end well. Most likely, that's going to be the tipping point. I'm guessing that she's going to die, and that's going to send Matt over the edge. And yeah, that's where we're going to go. And we still have Karen Page involved in all of this as well. Yes, she's in San Francisco and has left, but I'm fairly sure that they're going to bring her back. 'Cause I mean, I don't think they're going to bring Deborah Wall in just for a cameo to get killed like they did with Foggy. Actually, that actor, um, and I always can never remember his name. Um, Alden something or other. Yeah, it's sorry. I have IMDb up, but the thing is, it's a little slow at the moment. Eldon, there we go. Eldon Henson. So Eldon Henson, I guess, yes, did kind of want to come back, but conditionally. And I guess it was that he wanted to die. He wanted his character, or they were going to kill his character off, and that's he was okay with that. Um, but I'm wondering if this is where, yeah, I'm not going to spoil that part. There's something that happens to Karen Page in the comics that is a long, drawn out storyline as well, in and of itself. And I believe that Foggy's death is the catalyst of all of this as well. So I'm fairly sure we're going to be going down that road. Uh, and yeah, it. I'm sure that's kind of where we're going with this as well, which also ties into the whole born again storyline, if you will. Um, like I said, not the best start to a series that I was kind of really looking forward to, but also not the worst either. So kind of middle of the road. I'm waiting to see where we're at. We're gonna have a lot of weird release schedule on this because they are trying to beat Andor comes out in April next month, and that's when they want this series to be done is by the end of April before Andor starts, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they won't allow. It's really kind of stupid that you have to. You can only have one series at a time on Disney Plus. Just stagger the nights, put them on different nights. It's not a big fucking deal. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm looking at the schedule right now. So next week we get episode 3. The week after that we get episode 4, and then March 25th we get episodes 5 and 6, and then April 1st we get episode 7, and then yeah, then we get one episode a week thereafter. We get episode 7, episode 8, and then episode 9. And that April 15th is when episode 9 comes out. So a weird release schedule, um, again, to accommodate another series, which has nothing to do with it. Uh, I don't know where Disney's going with that one, but what do I know? I don't work there. Um, like I said, it was a weird start to this. I would have changed showrunners, and I heard there was some writing issues that were going on. There were a couple different competing storylines, and that there was some a huge rewrite that happened uh, between 2002 and 2000. Excuse me, 2022 and 23. That there was a huge shift in story, and that a good majority of it was changed, and then some more of it was changed during production, and that this is kind of the Frankenstein script that's been put together. And that's not my words. That's actually what I've read out there is that this script is Frankenstein, which I'm hoping is not the case. Um, season 2 of Daredevil on Netflix wasn't the greatest. Season 3 was better, but not by much. And season 1, of course, being the gold standard that they had there. And Punisher, like I said, that Punisher Netflix Punisher series wasn't great either. Who this is the showrunner for this right now that we've got going on. So how do I feel about it? Not jazzed, quite honestly, after seeing these first 2 episodes, but also not disappointed either. Yes, there is other stuff to watch on, on TV out there. There's a lot of stuff to watch actually out there. Which gives me a segue. If you go over to suspendedfanimation.com, you can take a look at the schedule that I have up there. I change it every week. Also, underneath my schedule that I have there, I also have future stuff, what's coming out in the future, obviously. Not everything, obviously, but a good smattering of stuff that I'm interested in, stuff that you might be interested in as well. So I've put a little bunch of things here and there. Um, when am I going to be on next? I'm going to be on next on Friday. I know I've been talking about covering Invincible for the longest time. I've skipped 2 episodes right now. I'm going to be covering the last 3 episodes by Friday there. So that'll be 5, 6, and 7. Um, season 3 is good of Invincible. It's just it's a little bit on the rough side. Um, Covering that right now. It wasn't as easy to cover. It's not as easy to cover as Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, but Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was also clumping things together and is so fucking well written that it was easy to review, quite honestly. So there you have it. All right. So let me plug everything and then I'll let you guys go. Thank you to everyone who joined me today in the chat or that joined me today. I saw some people, some lurkers in there. And thank you out there on the videos if you're watching right now. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the videos that pop up at the very end here, over here, and over here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos, my vast, vast video library, and pops it up here just for you to take a look at. And if you like what you see up there, please hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And leave a comment or two as well. Go in there and comment. I like to talk to people as well about this stuff. That's why I started this stuff. I like talking about nerd stuff, geek stuff. That's what I do. So thank you, everyone. I will see you again on Friday for Invincible. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may run into a guy who likes to throw a lot of knives, but you can't see where they're coming from because it's either too dark or the camera's too close up or too far away. And you don't, anyway, camera work's kind of a mess. Thanks, everyone. I will see you again on Friday. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, and yeah, enjoy the stuff out there that you can watch. Also, get outside every now and then. You know, the weather's getting nicer. Well, in some parts of the country, not everywhere. I know it's a little bit colder out in some places. But anyway, get out there and have some fun. And I will see you on Friday. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your night. Good night.